Just give me a second here while I'm loading up my Facebook. We are now live on Facebook and recording on for YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to go into my Quant Labs page, which is found on Quant Labs Net page on Facebook. Just do a search on that. Once we can get that up and running. Oh, let me just share my screen. That would help, wouldn't it? Share screen. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. Okay. So going back to, as I said, we want to load up our Quant Labs Net, our Quant Labs Net page on Facebook, and I just put out a video minus the live. The live video is called supposed to be S is hash Bitcoin Cash, the only cryptocurrency that matters. So I put up that video to showcase the latest scan, and I'm going to continue that now for all the nerds and technical people out there, and showing you some technical stuff that I've shown in other videos. And we're pretty well ready to go because we've tested the abilities to use the API in Binance to put out market and limit orders and buy and sells and all that in this webinar that I did a few days ago on Tuesday. And you can get more info there if you look for the video on my Quant Labs Net page called How I Deposit Cash into Bitcoin into Binance with an ATM and cash. So today we're going to hopefully finalize everything, the core of it, outside of the Kelly criterion to manage the portfolio and protect the account using Kelly criterion. And then obviously I'm going to have to develop some administrative scripts down the line to manage the portfolio. That'll start with a big whop in roughly 20 Canadian dollars and go from there. But I'm just going to show you the performance once we get into live trading. So here's the last two scripts that I've worked on over the last week or so to finalize everything to get it working. And it's totally different from what I'm shown before, the crude one. And I'm going to show you a much better, much simpler, less limiting set of versions. So this is the report I just ran, the big ass report I call it. And these are the final results of it. As I said, I've just showed you the video to go through the details of it. But anyways, what's going to happen is it's picked out BCH BNB as the pair to put into the database. I'm going to show you the database in a minute. And this is the expected return, and that's sorted against all these other combos here. And it figures that this one will give you the highest rate of return at only 0.33%. So it's not a big move that's expected. I've talked about it in a previous version or the previous video. So what happens now is we have our database. Now, if you go into my YouTube channel, look for a playlist on Redis. I'm not here to teach you how Redis works, but this is a server that is running in the background. I also have the Redis client to verify all the data as it gets entered automatically by these scripts in the database. And I also have a graphical user interface version as well. So let me show you the data that I currently have, which you can see here. I have some data. I just cleared out the database previously before the previous test, and this is what it's basically sent in for the watch list table. Watchlist crypto. I'm going to be running other asset classes, specifically CFDs down the line and Forex as well. So I have to break them out in the database piece by asset class. That's why we got crypto in there first. So how it works is, as I said, we've sent in this BCH BNB. I've also attached in the key, we're using a hash set. This number here is the current last timestamp according to either, I believe it's a Binance servers. Might be local on my system. I have to verify that. and then it just initializes it as a value with the cryptocurrency pair as 0. So now it's entered into the table in Redis, ready to go for my next time I run my watch list script. So if I navigate to it, I just got to go into this directory here. I have a bunch of Python scripts. The one I need to run is this watch crypto 2. Excuse me. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do Python 3 watch crypto 2, and off it goes. And it's going to do some stuff here. Hopefully, I've tested it fully, so hopefully it will run no problem. And of course, it's a delay of some kind. Let me just see what's going on here in the if it's been reset. Nope, still 0. Wonderful. Okay, so oh no, it's got a bug in it. I gotta love these. Okay, so I ran. Just give me a second here while I try to clean it up on the fly. Watch. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta run Crypto 3. That's the latest version. Okay, so that makes sense. And of course, it's normally not this slow. Okay, so what happened was it just went in, did a scan, downloaded the latest table, and I've kind of explained in better detail in the previous video on my Facebook page on QuantLabs.net in this one complete demo of latest automated, or I'm sorry, that's a live, is or S tag hashtag Bitcoin Cash, the only cryptocurrency that matters. So that's the video where I better detail what I'm about to talk here, but I'm not going to go into too much detail here. You can watch that video for better detail. Anyways, so what happens is it puts the cryptocurrency pair in there, and it will do two things. It will use Bitcoin USD as one asset to compare as a benchmark against the price of this. So it's going to do a comparison in the last 7 days of both the benchmark again, Bitcoin USD, against another exchange, just a general performance, see how Bitcoin did against the US dollar. And then it's going to take the same time frame and measure over the last week the rate of return on BCH BNB. So that means is we want to make sure that if we're going to put on a watch list in a potential position, we want to make sure that this cryptocurrency pair will be outperforming Bitcoin against the US dollar. So that's why we're doing that. Because if it's not going to outperform Bitcoin US dollar, there's no point in putting on the position, because you might as well take that money and put it into Bitcoin US dollar, because you get better return. And again, that's all historic. So and that's hopefully that you have the momentum still going over the last week in that case. So that's the first test. The second test, if you watch that same previous video and other videos of my scans, you'll notice that I talk a lot about RSI. From time, I mean, I'd say 99.9%. When you see the RSI dip below 30, where it's an undersold, undervalued price at that point, based upon other market conditions, that means it's a good time to enter into the market between those two combinations. And that's what I'm doing right now for entry, which is pretty basic and crude. So again, we want to make sure that a cryptocurrency that we're talking about, in this case, BCH BNB, will outperform over the last week, outperform Bitcoin against the US dollar. So we want to make sure that this pair will outperform it. As well, we want to make sure at that time that we do this analysis that our RSI is below 30. If you watched the previous video, if we were to run this script constantly, we'd be able to catch the odd wick that will potentially push up the price and our profit if we're able to catch it fast enough and dump the trade and then get out to get an extra in I think it was yesterday or a few days ago, where you could have gotten an extra 25-30% profit, maybe more, 50% based upon just one wick going up to $80. So in this case, there is no signal. So we need to make sure we have both those, as I said, conditions met. Once they're met, then we pass it off to the position manager, and we open up a new table called positions crypto. So it's going to wait a certain amount of periods, or I should say number of attempts. So depending upon how frequently I run this particular script, the watch list, I could do it every hour, and then all it will do is I can set the number of attempts before we can put on an entry. If the entry is not met, it will remove this record, this one here, this row. It'll remove it from the database. So it'll keep the database quite small with the amount of rows that are not needed anymore. So we'll delete it after whatever period is if we're not able to get an entry with the two conditions that I've already mentioned. Okay, so that's how that works. So I have to fudge the data now in order to create. So if you can see here, it's still at 0, but if I reload the database, you'll see that the database or the row has been updated with the cryptocurrency, and the 1 represents how many attempts we've tried to see if the two conditions have been met for an entry. If not, it will just add it, and I'll just show you another example of that. So I don't know why it's slow, but it's probably my system just bogged down for some reason. This will be run on a completely dedicated box. So if I go back in, reload the, so again in this instance there is no signal again. So if we waited a day, a couple hours, or whatever that frequency is going to be set at, go back in to look at the database. So if I reload the tables, you'll notice that that number of attempts is now 2, and so on and so forth if I rerun that watch crypto Python script. Okay, so now what we've got is we're going to assume we've mocking a potential position entry. So now I'm going to fudge it, I guess you could call it, and put in a fake row, which is just for testing purposes and really demonstration purposes. Do an H set, creates a new table if it doesn't exist called positions crypto. Here's the pair with the unique timestamp, and again I need to make it unique with a timestamp because, as I said before in my previous video, if I had 3 days of 3 signals of BCH, BNB, I would have 3 separate rows of BCH, BNB, plus I have to give each one a unique timestamp. So that is what this is for. So I have 3 separate positions because in 3 days in a row, BCH, BNB was a buy. There was a signal for a buy over the last 3 days. So we'd have 3 instances of each with its own unique timestamp. And again, this is Unix time from my system or Binance servers. And again, we set the value. So this is the key, and then this value is just 0. Okay. So again, that's what we have. We have the key and the value here. So now, because I've in the Redis client, I can then reload the database. Now we have this new table here called positions crypto, and again, same as before, no different than the watch list. We have a key of the BCH BNB with the unique timestamp, and then we have again a 0 value. So now when I go out and run my new script, I want to show you the position manager, as I call it. It will now update that value in the database with a bunch of new data. So I'm going to run that right now. So we have POS crypto 2. So again, it's going to be slow. I don't know why. If I reboot it, I'm sure it'd be a lot faster. I probably got a lot of stuff running on it, meaning I've got both two software programs recording and having the Zoom session. That's probably what's bogging it down. Okay, so now that that's run, what we have here is now some new data. So it's updated the row in that positions crypto, and I'm going to go into the GUI here, reload the data. So we have our positions crypto. So now what we've got is we've got a standard key, but we've now updated with a new set of values. So if I go into, let's say if I go into here and just create a new breakdown, I'm going to tell you what we have here. Okay, so everything's comma separated. So we have here our timestamp. We have our symbol that we're working with, the unique timestamp. Okay, so the next comma, this is the calculated ATR, which is dynamic. Okay, so that's the ATR, average true range value, and then we turn that into the equivalent of a stop loss. And then what we'll do is we'll take the current price, which is, I believe this would be the current price. Let me just verify that. So let me just see what the current price is for BCH. BNB, Bitcoin, actually we want it US dollars, Canadian, just give me a second here while I'll do this, maybe, yeah, so that might be it. BNB, so the current price is $12.95. That doesn't make sense. Again, this is all fairly new. No, that doesn't make sense at all. Oh, BNB USD. That's not what we were after. Let me try Trading View here. Trading View. Okay, so what we're looking for is the ticker BCH. Wow, this is really slow. BNB. I'm gonna take up this little. Anyways, I'm going to assume, sorry about that, I am going to assume that this is the current price. So what we do is we take the ATR, this one right here, and we give it some kind of threshold. So we'll take the current price and create a range, an up and down range, no different than a Bollinger Band. We will take the price, and we will the current price plus the ATR times 2. So right here, what we'll have is we'll have a upper and a lower hard target, or a hard stop loss target. So this would be 65 on the 0.3. Oh, sorry. So the current, yeah. So this is the current price, 65.3. Okay, so that's the ATR right here, followed by the comma. 65.3 is the current latest price. So again, we take the 65.3 plus the ATR 4.15 times 2, which brings us up to the upper range of 80.06, and then the lower range of 63.43. So that's the hard stop loss targets at this point, based upon the current price. And then we have our what we call a soft target. So this would be the upper soft target, and then this would be the lower soft target. So what happens is with a position, again, no different than the watch list, what we have here is we can run this script over and over again every hour, every couple hours, once a day, whatever. And what it will do is going to repeat the same process as before. It will download the latest closing price, and then once it depending upon what's happening, it's programmed. If there is a profitable run, no different than a stop loss, or sorry, a trailing stop loss, it will recalculate the current ATR, but it'll keep the original ATR in the upper, all this target. It will keep that original, but then it will update it in the where these zeros are. So it'll keep the original, plus it will update the current price at the latest scan along here where these zeros are. So let's say we have a scenario where we have a price, in this case 65.3. The price starts to move up, and what happens is as the price moves up, and at some point it's now starting to exceed the upper hard target, it will recalculate everything, the current ATR based upon historical data on bars, open, high, low, close. And if that price keeps going up, it'll recalculate everything. So it'll recalculate the upper hard target. It will recalculate the lower hard target. It will recalculate the upper hard target and the lower hard target. Okay. And if the price keeps going up, what you can do then, if the price starts to drop off at 65.3 and the price starts to go below either the lower price target of the latest or the original, lower soft target or the lowest hard target, we can exit the trade. It's using the ATR, and either depending upon if there's a continual profit run, it'll keep and it won't kick the trade. It won't close the order like a regular stop loss if you signal that back to the broker. It won't do that. It's all virtual. So that's a big benefit of using this methodology. You're not signaling back to the broker what your stop losses are. You put out a regular market order, you'll get better execution, better fills, and they'll have you on record as a market order. So you'll get a better trade, and that because it's a better status, you will have a faster close because it's a market order. And the thing is, you're not letting your broker know what you're doing with these stop losses as you're treating them as a virtual stop loss. It's very powerful with this concept. It is the equivalent of a trailing stop, but it's all virtual. And the reason we have hard targets and soft targets is based upon risk. So if you've seen my reports, we have RSI, we have momentum. So if the momentum is not as strong and it's only at, let's say, 0, you could start out with half a position. So you could go out, okay, instead of putting out, let's say, 100 units of whatever, we could put out 50 or 25 or just a smaller amount to test the market to see what happens. But if we know, and I can build this position manager, making it much more sophisticated than it is currently, I can build it in a way, if there is a soft position put on, only half a position or the measurement, and as the calculations are being recalibrated, as the profit's running, we can expect more people to pile in to drive up the bars that you've seen. And if that's the case, we'll buy more stock for this and increase the profit. And then at the same time, as I've described before, we can use the ATR to get out of this trade prematurely if either we hit the lower hard target or the lower soft target. So you have a lot of flexibility here. And again, the exchange in Binance doesn't know this. So if there's market making going on, they wouldn't know that this is happening, which is very powerful, because I do know as a fact that Oanda, let's say, as a broker of Forex or any corrupt broker, they will prematurely kick you out of trades and say it's a technical glitch. That won't happen here because we're not letting them know about our our stop loss targets. And it's a trailing stop as well. So as long as we stay on top of this with open positions, we should be okay. So for instance, if we put on a position and we don't have this running all the time, checking back frequently, and then the price, while we're not checking it, suddenly has a drastic, something blew up and the price comes down, we could be prematurely down and in a losing position because we're not running the script all the time to check the position, and then we could take a loss or maybe even a big loss if there's a sudden market drop where panic sets in or something. But at the end of the day, this theoretically should work. And the other nice thing about it is that we have the ability to because we can apply a market order, we should be able to get out of the trade faster because it's a riskier trade, a riskier position. But because we're using this methodology in our script, we should theoretically be able to escape and get out of the trades faster than as if it was a limit order. So there's some advantages with this. So that's pretty well it. So then what will happen is if we have some point, as I said, when the exit conditions are met, we will be able to update the latest, as I said, the latest ATR, upper hard target, lower hard target, upper soft target, and the lower soft target where these zeros are, if we have a condition where the profit runs for a while. All right, so that's pretty well what I show you. I guess I got a few people here. Anybody got any questions or comments on this? Because I do find that the way this has been designed, this is what a lot of professional traders would use, but they won't tell you how they do it. But it's a very simple but a very effective way to trade. All right, so we shall end it there. Always remember, if you want to get notified of when everything, when I go live with these Facebook Lives, all you gotta do is just come to the Quant Labs net page, like voila, and all you gotta do is follow, and then you'll get an alert via Facebook when I'm going live. Okay, and again, you can keep track of the videos in this tab here, and that's pretty well it. And if you want to stay on top of my blog, because there's other stuff I can post that don't make it in Facebook, if you go to my blog, I hope this doesn't take forever to load up, but if you go to my blog here, I do have a place where you can sign up on the email and get access, or you'll get notified of the latest stuff I'm working on. Okay, so there's a bunch of pop-ups that come up and you'll be able to subscribe via that. Okay, so let me know what you think. I guess there's no questions or anything. Alright, so we shall leave it at that, and thanks for watching, and we shall talk to you soon. Actually, let me just do a refresh here. We have Elf Fishman saying hello, hello. Sorry I missed your comment there. But thanks for watching. If anyone's got any questions, go ahead and comment, and I'll do my best to address it. Oh, it's a 20-second delay. Otherwise, I'll just terminate our thingamajiggy. I don't think I have any comments. Okay, so we shall leave it at that, and have a good day, and I'll see you on the next session. Over and out. Have a good day. Later.